The movie kicks off with a man named John Garrity explaining and breaking down the incident that occurred which led to Earth's downfall. According to him, pieces of a colossal asteroid called Comet Clark slammed into the planet, triggering a global catastrophe unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Within just a few days, nearly 70% of the world's population was wiped out. The aftermath was just as brutal. The atmosphere became toxic, water sources were corrupted, wildlife collapsed, and extreme climate shifts turned most of the planet into a death zone. As radiation spread and storms grew more violent, survival on the surface became nearly impossible. With nowhere else to go, the remaining humans retreated underground, sealing themselves inside fortified bunkers hidden across the globe. One of the most critical shelters is buried deep beneath Greenland. Against all odds, a small group of survivors has managed to stay alive there for 5 years since the extinction level event. Fast forward to the present, we find John Garrity on the surface near the Greenland bunker. Battling the frozen wasteland, he carefully moves along the icy coastline while staying in constant radio contact with the base. His mission is simple but dangerous. Search the surrounding area for anything that could help keep the bunker's population alive. During his patrol, John stumbles upon abandoned lifeboats frozen into the shoreline, a haunting sign that others once tried to flee the disaster but never succeeded. Pressing on, he then discovers a massive destroyer ship trapped and half buried in ice. Driven by both desperation and curiosity, John decides to board the vessel, hoping to find supplies that can make a difference. Inside the ship, he does find useful equipment and resources. However, alongside these supplies, John also uncovers something far more disturbing. Its crew didn't escape, only their skeletal remains remain, scattered throughout the frozen corridors. As John searches through the wreckage, he comes across something unexpected, a worn notebook filled with hand-drawn flowers. Before he has time to reflect on the discovery, an urgent transmission crackles through his radio. The bunker warns him that a massive radiation storm is racing toward his position. If he doesn't turn back immediately, survival won't be possible. Panic takes over as John sprints across the icy terrain, forcing his exhausted body to keep moving. Just as the storm begins swallowing the landscape, John reaches the bunker in the nick of time, sealing the heavy doors behind him moments before the radiation engulfs the area. Once he was in, John takes a deep breath. Meanwhile, back underground in the Greenland facility, survival remains a daily struggle. Tension fills the bunker as officials, scientists, and engineers clash over how much time they truly have left, and we are meant to know that supplies are running dangerously low, food portions are tightly controlled, and fear spreads that the shelter won't be able to sustain everyone much longer. Although some believe that if they can hold on just a little longer, the surface may eventually recover enough to allow farming again, offering humanity a slim chance at starting over. However, Dr. Amina Payam, who is a leading scientist, addresses the group directly. She confirms that while radiation levels above ground have been slowly declining, the surface is still lethal to humans without advanced protection. Any prolonged exposure would be fatal, making outside exploration impossible for the foreseeable future. Based on her research, there are indications that life may be re-emerging near southern France, where Comet Clark first made contact with Earth. The extreme heat of the impact, combined with mineral-rich soil and water, may have unintentionally created ideal conditions for regeneration. Around the same time, we see John quietly attending a one-on-one therapy session. During this, a heartbreaking truth comes to light. Beneath his composed exterior, John is dying. He has only 7 or 8 weeks left to live. Fully aware of what's coming, he chooses to keep his illness secret from his wife, Allison, and their young son, Nathan. Meanwhile, conditions inside the bunker continue to deteriorate. Earthquakes shake the underground facility more frequently, reminding everyone that even beneath the surface, as preparations move forward, John throws himself into maintenance work, fixing failing systems throughout the facility. He restores water flow, stabilizes the power grid, and keeps the bunker running against all odds. Meanwhile, down below, families gather to have meals, while soft music echoes. While John had a little conversation with his wife and son, John discovers that Nathan has secretly gone outside the bunker. Enraged and terrified, he confronts his son, only to uncover the deeper truth. Nathan is exhausted by a life spent underground, having never seen the open sky or felt sunlight on his skin. John warns his son never to try something like that again, before then going to have a dance with his wife, who still doesn't know he's unwell. The following day, John heads out to carry out his routine work alongside his partner, but it doesn't take long for them to notice something is terribly wrong. A massive crack has formed in the structure, spreading faster than expected and signaling that the building is no longer stable. On the other hand, the rescue team eventually returns, bringing back a handful of survivors. But their arrival comes with devastating news. Many more were left behind because there simply wasn't room. As the bunker doors seal shut, tensions explode once again, with arguments over dwindling food supplies and the risk of taking in outsiders. Unfortunately, before John can warn anyone of the danger ahead, a powerful earthquake strikes. The walls begin to buckle, alarms scream, and the bunker descends into chaos as people scramble for safety. John fights his way through the collapsing corridors in search of Allison. When they reunite, both parents frantically search for Nathan, eventually finding him barely breathing after radiation exposure. With the bunker beyond saving and no chance of returning, they gather what supplies they can, secure gas masks, and prepare to escape. Sadly, the western exit is jammed beyond use, leaving only one remaining path. John and his family race through the eastern tunnel, making it out just seconds before the bunker collapses completely. Almost immediately, a massive tsunami crashes into the Greenland coast, wiping out everything and everyone who failed to escape. Reaching the icy shoreline, the family finds abandoned lifeboats and launches into the open sea. Along the way, they rescue a badly injured Dr. Pagum, squeezing everyone into the final functioning boat as the shattered coastline fades into the distance. Unfortunately, massive waves crash around a lifeboat, threatening to flip it at any moment. Against all odds, the group weathers the storm and drifts into open waters directionless, with barely any supplies and no map to guide them. Iceland has vanished beneath the rising seas, and Comet Clark's devastation has shifted ocean currents, forcing them southward. So having only few options, they all set their sights on Europe, eventually aiming for England. After a long and grueling journey, their boat suddenly breaks down. Stranded in the middle of open water, hope begins to waver, but John quickly takes charge. John manages to get the boat running again, but not without a stark warning: the fuel is nearly gone. At the current rate, what's left will only last them 2 more days, leaving the group with a ticking clock as they push toward their uncertain destination. After days of drifting, land finally appears. They reach the remains of Liverpool, now half submerged and transformed into a network of canals. At first, the city seems deserted, but the illusion quickly fades. After a very long drive through the city, crowds of survivors gather outside a government bunker, where armed soldiers turn away anyone without proper identification. Allison is momentarily allowed inside, but chaos erupts when Dr. Pagum pushes past security despite repeated warnings. He's shot immediately, igniting panic as a new radiation storm bears down. With no safe haven in sight, the group has no choice but to flee once again. Shortly after leaving the scene, they meet a man named Samuel for help, and he agrees to guide them toward London in exchange for John's watch. As they move, Nathan becomes deeply fascinated by Dr. Amina Payam's theory that life may be returning at the impact site. To him, it's more than science. It's a symbol of hope in a shattered world. After a long stretch on the road, the group decides to pull over and take a much-needed break. It's during this pause that John strikes up a conversation with the driver, and we finally learn his other name, Obi. Originally from Nigeria, he's lived in England for years, giving him a deep knowledge of the land that could prove crucial for their journey ahead. He then informed John that he overheard a hat the scientist said inside the vehicle, but John must know that France is more dangerous than where they are now, and the scientist, theory sound more like rubbish. Their journey takes a deadly twist when a sudden meteor shower tears across the sky. In the chaos, Samuel dies trying to save his car. There's no time to grieve. The group salvages what supplies they can and continues on foot, knowing the road ahead will only grow more perilous. After a long walk, the group finally arrives in London. There, Allison is reunited with her sister Mackenzie, who has been safeguarding a small group of patients inside a sealed section of a hospital. Thanks to generators and air filtration systems, Mackenzie has managed to keep radiation from infiltrating their sanctuary. Later that night, John's health takes a sharp turn for the worse. He finally confides in Allison, revealing the truth about his terminal illness and admitting that his time is limited. John explains that he refuses to spend his final days hiding underground. He wants Nathan to see the world while life still exists, even if just for a fleeting moment. United by that determination, the family resolves to embark on a dangerous journey to France, hoping this could be the cradle of new life. The next day, Mackenzie equips them with fuel, maps, and a stern warning which was that they shouldn't stop for anyone along the way. Immediately, they all embark on this journey, but danger quickly finds them, as one of their partner is lost in an ambush by armed robbers. John fights back, killing their attackers. Afterwards, they bury their friend, and not quite long, they proceed to drive to their destination. Eventually, they reach the coast, only to be met with a shocking sight. The sea has vanished, leaving behind a barren, desert-like expanse. As John explained to his family that the world has changed once again, and survival now demands even greater courage and resilience. They all continue to drive further, but just as they did, they realized that to reach France, they must cross a terrifyingly narrow bridge stretched over a massive chasm. So they did in accordance to that, but Nathan seems to be afraid. However, after much push, he agreed to follow along, but they barely make it across as the structure collapses behind them, a stark reminder of how deadly their journey has become. Luckily, the family managed to safely cross. Afterwards, they continue their journey only to realize nothing was left to remain in the land. Suddenly, a man arrived with a gun. He introduced himself, and on their way, he stated that he has carved out a life off the grid. Once he got to his destination, he explains further that by using the solar power and air filtration systems, he protects his family, his wife, paralyzed by radiation, and his young daughter, Sarah. While they all have a meal together, Denise explains that France is now split into rival Eastern and Western factions, each battling for control over the impact crater, now called the Promised Land. He believes that Sarah's future depends on reaching it, and asks John to take her along. Despite knowing the dangers, John agrees. Later that evening, Nathan and Sarah seem to have a really good conversation where it seems like they are bonding. As morning break, John is brief on how to safely get to their destination without risking or getting into serious danger, Denise also gave John his contact who he should call on their arrival, and the individual is a commander. They all say their goodbyes and then proceed on their new mission. While they take a rest, unfortunately their journey pushes them through active war zones, where soldiers escort them through the ongoing war happening. After a long walk, they finally got to the camp, but sadly, it is revealed that the commander they were supposed to meet has been killed. Eventually, another officer steps in, agreeing to guide them toward the crater, giving the group a fragile glimmer of hope amidst chaos. They all take another vehicle heading towards the direction. While traveling on a heavily guarded bus, the group is ambushed once again. John fights valiantly, but after a long extended battle between him and the soldier, John is shot in the stomach, leaving Allison to take the wheel and drive them toward their destination as fast as she can. Eventually, the road ends, and they are forced to continue on foot, each step heavier than the last. Fortunately for them, they finally arrive at the crater, and what they find is astonishing. Fertile land stretches out before them, complete with clean water, lush greenery, and undeniable signs of new life. Dr. Pyam's theory has been proven correct, offering humanity a genuine chance to start over. With his family safe and his promise fulfilled. But sadly at this moment, John peacefully passes away at the edge of this emerging world. They all say their goodbyes as grief mixes with relief. Allison, Nathan, and Sarah step forward together into the crater, guided by hope and the promise of a fresh beginning. The movie then came to an end. Kindly subscribe for more movie recap like this. Thanks for watching and goodbye.